And I say to the guy, I say, I would like to have, and before I even finish my sentence, he says, the chicken!
KFC operates around 29,900 restaurants in nearly 150 countries and serves 12 million customers every day worldwide. Yet, despite its popularity, the southern U.S. version of fried chicken carries a heavy weight of history. The story of fried chicken in America is anything but simple. Its past is filled with struggle and exploitation.
Here's a joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because there was a black guy walking behind him. And he was nervous.
This is the dark, racist history of fried chicken you never knew. We'll uncover how fried chicken transformed from humble beginnings into a symbol of prejudice and cultural appropriation. Get ready to explore the shocking history behind fried chicken that you never knew existed. History of fried chicken. So how did fried chicken become a staple of American cuisine, especially in the South? It's believed that the dish really started to take shape in the 16-1800s. Southerners embraced it as a core part of their food culture, and for a long time, it was associated with African Americans, many of whom were enslaved and recognized for their expertise in preparing this dish. One of the earliest written recipes for fried chicken in the U.S. appeared in 1824 in the Virginia Housewife. This cookbook, written by Mary Randolph, who was connected to a family that owned slaves and was related to Thomas Jefferson, marked a turning point in American culinary history. Her recipe was pretty straightforward. Cut up the chicken, coat it with flour, sprinkle some salt, and fry it in hot lard until golden brown. Now the origins of fried chicken actually go back even further. Scottish immigrants brought the concept of frying chicken to America in the 1600s. Their version was simple. No heavy seasoning, just frying. So while it laid the groundwork, it didn't yet have the bold flavors we associate with Southern fried chicken today. So where did all that flavor come from? Most people don't know it, but it came from West African cooking traditions. Food historian Adrian Miller highlights how by the 1700s, fried chicken was already popular among white Southern families. But when enslaved Africans began cooking it, they introduced their own techniques, especially when it came to seasoning. This fusion of Scottish frying methods and West African spices gave Southern fried chicken its signature taste and transformed it into something uniquely American. African American ingenuity. West Africans didn't originally fry chicken the way Southerners later did. Instead, their method resembled a fricassee, where chicken was lightly fried and simmered in a seasoned sauce, similar to chicken yassa. During the transatlantic slave trade, this cooking style merged with Scottish frying methods brought to the Americas. Enslaved African Americans adapted their Scottish slaveholders' recipes, adding their own seasoning techniques and transforming the dish into something uniquely their own. By blending bold spices like paprika, cayenne, and garlic with the crispness of frying, African American cooks elevated fried chicken into a Southern icon. It joined staples like black-eyed peas, cornbread, and sweet potato pie as a cornerstone of Southern cuisine and an American classic. Fried chicken as cultural identity. For African American slaves, fried chicken carried a deeper meaning. Many slaveholders allowed slaves to raise chickens and sell or trade eggs, giving them a small degree of autonomy. In West African traditions, chickens held spiritual significance and played a role in religious ceremonies, and these practices were carried over to the Americas. Fried chicken became a special dish, often prepared for communal gatherings after church or for hosting the pastor. The pastor, as the honored guest, was always served first and given the best pieces, like the breast, nicknamed preacher's parts. Even into the 1950s, the deep cultural and religious ties to fried chicken earned it names like Gospel Bird and Sunday Cluck, which remain significant in African American culture. Stereotypes and commercialization. In the 19th century, fried chicken offered many African Americans a path to economic independence. Dr. Psyche Williams Forson, in her book Building Houses Out of Chicken Legs, Black Women, Food, and Power, highlights how the town of Gordonsville, Virginia, became known as the fried chicken capital of the world during the late 1800s. Gordonsville, an essential Civil War railroad stop, lacked dining cars on its trains. Black women seized the opportunity, selling fried chicken and other foods to passengers directly through train windows. Its portability made it ideal in an era before refrigeration, and fried chicken quickly gained popularity among white travelers. This success, however, came with a downside. Fried chicken was marketed as a Southern or ethnic specialty, often accompanied by degrading imagery. Advertisements and branding used caricatures to reinforce racial stereotypes, trivializing the cultural significance of the dish. The harmful associations didn't stop at ads. Films like The Birth of a Nation, 1915, a notoriously racist movie, and The Jazz Singer, 1927, where blackface was used to demean African Americans, both played significant roles in embedding negative stereotypes. In one infamous scene from The Birth of a Nation, black legislators are portrayed as unruly and lazy, with one character exaggeratedly eating fried chicken, a blatant attempt to demean black individuals' character and legitimacy. This pattern continued into the mid-20th century with brand mascots like Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben. Aunt Jemima, introduced in the late 19th century, depicted a mammy figure, a stereotype of a content, servile black woman devoted to a white family. Uncle Ben's branding echoed similar stereotypes, reducing complex identities to caricatures of servitude. These images were not only offensive but profitable, as they became some of the most recognizable brands in America, normalizing these stereotypes on a massive scale. By the 1960s, fast food chains like Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, emerged, introducing fried chicken to mainstream America while reinforcing racial divides. KFC strategically opened locations in low-income, predominantly black neighborhoods, a practice critics likened to food redlining. While these areas lacked access to healthier options, fried chicken franchises thrived, reinforcing stereotypes and economic inequality. Interestingly, this period coincided with the signing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, meant to dismantle segregation. Yet, the placement of these fast food chains perpetuated a subtler form of systemic racism. This paradox illustrated how societal progress could be undermined by economic and cultural exploitation. Despite its troubled history, fried chicken also became a symbol of cultural pride and resistance. During the Civil Rights Movement, activists reclaimed fried chicken as a political statement. By ordering it at lunch counters once reserved for whites, they defied stereotypes and reclaimed the narrative around the dish. Leaders like Malcolm X spoke about how food was used to marginalize black communities, calling out the lasting impact of these stereotypes. Fried chicken, once weaponized to demean, became a testament to resilience, cultural identity, and the fight for equality. Modern perspectives. Reclaiming the narrative. Fried chicken has truly become a global sensation, enjoyed from Seoul to Sydney, Nairobi to New York. Chains like KFC have expanded to over 145 countries, showcasing the dish's universal appeal. Fusion creations such as Korean fried chicken and Japanese carriage highlight how different cultures have embraced and adapted this culinary favorite. However, it's important to recognize that fried chicken carries a complex history, especially in the United States. Historically, it was associated with racial stereotypes that portrayed African Americans in a derogatory light. These stereotypes were perpetuated through various media, including advertisements and films, reinforcing negative perceptions. Today, a new generation of culinary professionals is challenging these outdated narratives. Chefs like Marcus Samuelsson are at the forefront of this movement. Through his Harlem restaurant, Red Rooster, Samuelsson honors traditional flavors while skillfully avoiding racial cliches, offering dishes that reflect the rich heritage of African American cuisine without succumbing to stereotypes. Food critics like Soleil Ho are also contributing to this dialogue. Ho's writing delves into the intersections of food, culture, and identity, prompting readers to consider the deeper meanings behind what we eat and how it's represented. By addressing these topics, Ho encourages a more nuanced understanding of dishes like fried chicken, moving beyond simplistic and harmful stereotypes. Understanding the full story of fried chicken allows us to appreciate the rich culture infused into every bite while acknowledging the challenges that persist. By embracing this history, we can foster a more inclusive and respectful appreciation for the diverse culinary traditions that enrich our world. And that's a wrap on the dark history and cultural journey of fried chicken. From its roots in African American ingenuity to its complex legacy of stereotypes and commercialization, we've seen how this dish is much more than just a meal. It's a symbol of resilience, pride, and cultural significance. If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating topics. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. And of course, check out the next video on screen for more amazing stories. See you next time.